Let us talk about car control: foot pedals, clutch, brake and gas/accelerator. The accelerator. The accelerator controls the supply of fuel to the engine and hence the speed or the power of the vehicle. The vehicle itself is at its most stable, normally the safest, when under a constant acceleration in a straight line. Acceleration sense is the driver's ability to control their vehicle without using the foot brake in response to changing conditions. It should be a vital part of your driving plan. This sense is very closely linked to what is observed both inside your vehicle and outside. Outside, by regulating your road speed, you can improve safety, fuel economy, and traffic flow. Inside, by glancing reference to your instruments, you may maintain safety and legality. Some factors affecting your acceleration sense. Your speed will rise and fall with the gradient of the road, increasing downhill and decreasing uphill. The context of the road, moving from a fast-moving road to a slow-moving one, will give a false sense of a safe speed. A wide road will seem slower than a narrow road because your points of reference are further away. You must allow for other road users who share the road. For instance, cyclists will get free speed going downhill. Factors affecting acceleration. As you accelerate, the weight of the vehicle is transferred from the front wheels to the rear wheels. With front-wheel drive vehicles, excessive acceleration can lead to front-wheel spin. This loss of traction when coming out of a junction may leave you in the path of an oncoming vehicle or other dangers. It may also possibly lead to a condition called understeer on bends. This is when your vehicle is going wide due to no grip from the front wheels. With rear-wheel drive vehicles, the weight transfer when you accelerate on a rear-wheel drive vehicle will initially help acceleration. But harsh acceleration will result in wheel spin and the associated problems. A loss of grip from the rear wheels when on a bend will result in oversteer. This is when the rear wheels have lost grip and your vehicle spins out of control. Its use should be smooth and balanced with the other controls. As you increase or decrease the pedal pressure, you will increase or decrease your vehicle speed. As your speed increases, you need to move up through the gears, trading power for speed. By removing your foot from the accelerator, there is a gradual slowing down of your vehicle. This is called engine compression, and the lower your gear, the more pronounced its effect. Harsh use of the accelerator will lead to skidding by causing loss of traction due to wheel spin. On an incline, you may need to increase or decrease the pedal pressure to maintain a constant speed. If you are going uphill, more pressure, or downhill, less. It is important to be in the correct gear to get the best response from the accelerator pedal. Wearing the right footwear will help you feel the pedal better. A closed shoe will protect your toes from stubbing. Shoelaces need to be done up. A shoelace caught in the door may mean your foot will not reach the brake when needed. The braking. Most vehicles will have two types of braking systems. The hand brake. This is sometimes known as the parking brake and is used to secure the vehicle when stationary. It does this by a mechanical system that locks the rear wheels. For this reason, it should not be used when your vehicle is moving, because by locking the rear wheels you would be causing a skid. Its correct operation is when stationary: grasp the handle and depress the button, to prevent racket wear. Pull up with the button depressed till it feels firm. Then release the button and handle. The foot brake. This is used to slow the vehicle when moving. On HGV and PSV vehicles it is known as the service brake. By removing your foot from the accelerator, your vehicle will slow due to engine compression. As you apply pressure on the foot brake, the slowing effect is greater till you reach the point where the wheels lock up. The maximum braking effect is just before the wheels lock up and is called limit or threshold braking. This is not a technique for the public road and would be very dangerous to attempt with other vehicles around. The more the braking grips through the wheels, the less the grip that is available for steering. There are a number of different braking techniques. Progressive braking. Progressive braking is sometimes known as three-phase or tapered braking. Using your right foot. Touch. Squeeze. Ease. The actual proportion of touch, squeeze, and ease technique will vary to your circumstances. The first phase is to touch the brake pedal. By coming off the accelerator there is a small reduction in speed. As you lightly touch the foot brake itself, the brake lights come on warning the traffic behind of your intention. This should be done in good time and shows good planning and awareness. The second phase is to squeeze the brake pedal, gradually increasing the pressure on the brake till you have reached the required speed. This is your main reduction in speed. How hard to squeeze the brake is decided by what is happening around you. The third phase is ease off the brake pedal. This returns equilibrium to your vehicle, as when you brake the front dips down as the back rises. This is the mark of a good driver because it shows the braking is planned. In emergency braking, this phase of easing is omitted as the requirement is to stop. Cadence braking. In vehicles without ABS you will have to pump the brake. This technique is called cadence braking. It is also sometimes known as pulse, rhythm, or stutter braking. You are doing manually what ABS does automatically. It will not help with the braking, but it will allow you to steer while braking. Modern cars have a number of different systems to help with the braking. Braking assist. In an emergency you will apply a lot more pressure on the foot pedal than normal. Some vehicles will have something called emergency braking assist, EBA. This senses when a driver is depressing the foot brake harder than normal and applies extra pressure till the ABS kicks in. ABS. The purpose of ABS is to allow you to steer as well as brake. Modern vehicles will be fitted with ABS in order to prevent your vehicle going into an uncontrolled skid. ABS works by applying and releasing the brakes many times faster than any driver may find possible. Use of ABS generates a pulsing sensation through the brake pedal. It is important that braking pressure is maintained. Pumping the brake should be avoided, as you would be reducing the effectiveness of the ABS. If your vehicle is fitted with ABS, the manufacturer's handbook should always be consulted. Its advantage is a shorter stopping distance on normal roads and directional control. Its limitation is on a loose road surface, when it will make your vehicle travel further. Emergency braking. At some point when driving you will have to emergency brake. Good observation and anticipation will greatly reduce the chances of this happening. On a dry straight road keep your brake depressed, progressively braking harder till you have stopped. Quick reaction is essential. Try not to lock the wheels up, as this is a loss of control which results in skidding. Keep both hands on the wheel, as this will increase your control of the vehicle. You are braced if you hit something. But you are also able to swerve, rotational steering, to avoid something. It will stop you trying to use the handbrake, which could lock up the rear wheels. With both hands on the wheel you will be properly braced if struck from the rear. Leave the clutch up as long as you can before you push it down. This way there is a benefit of engine compression to help slow you down. The wheels are turning the engine because the clutch is up and your foot is off the gas. Also, your vehicle will be more stable if the drivetrain is still connecting the engine to the drive wheels. Your objective is to stop as quickly and as safely as possible while maintaining full control. If your vehicle has EBA or ABS, these will kick in to assist. ABS will also allow you to steer to avoid a collision. Brake tests. Brake tests should be performed at the first opportunity. Every time you use a vehicle for the first time. This is to ascertain that your brakes are safe and how they perform. Your brakes are most likely to fail when they are most needed, as they are under the greatest stress. The stationary brake test. With the engine off, apply a firm pressure to the brake pedal. The pedal should feel firm when pressed. Hold the pressure and then start the engine. The pedal should sink down as the servo assist kicks in. This should be a relatively small movement. The longer a vehicle has been inactive, the more the pedal will sink when the servo assist kicks in. It will then move down to a point where it will be firm. The pedal should move freely as you apply and release the pressure. A stationary test should be part of your cockpit checks. Your handbrake may be checked while performing a stationary brake test. Pull the handbrake up till it feels firm. Your handbook should tell you how far up it should go. It should not reach the end of its travel. If it was to do so, it would mean it was reaching the limit of its effectiveness. The moving brake test. A moving brake test is an absolute necessity when driving a vehicle you are not familiar with. This is done to show how the vehicle behaves while braking, what pressure to apply, and if your vehicle pulls to the side when braking. Also, if there are any other problems such as vibration or noise. It is your responsibility to perform the test and to do so safely. To perform this test, when the road is clear behind you, accelerate to 30 miles per hour. Put your vehicle into neutral so engine compression is not a factor. Progressively brake while holding the wheel lightly. If the pedal does not behave normally or if your vehicle pulls to the side, seek immediate professional help. Release the pedal just before stopping at 5 to 10 miles per hour to ensure that the brakes do release. Problems with the brakes. If the pedal sinks when the pressure is applied as you are driving along, this indicates that the brake seals are failing, sometimes known as spongy brakes. Your vehicle should not be driven if this occurs. Get professional help immediately. Brake fade. This is a reduction in brake performance as a result of sustained braking on a lengthy downhill stretch or excessive use in high-speed driving. It can be made more likely by poor maintenance. There are two types of brake fade. These are pedal fade and pad fade. Pedal fade. This is when the brake fluid has overheated and started to boil. The pedal will feel spongy or soft. If your brake pedal starts to feel soft, stop immediately and get professional help. To drive your vehicle in this condition is extremely dangerous. Pad fade. This is when the pads have exceeded their normal operating temperatures. They then tend to glaze over, reducing the braking effect. The brake will feel firm, but there will be a much reduced braking effect. Be aware that items can get stuck under the pedal. The cockpit area should be kept clear of loose items to prevent this. The clutch and gears. Torque is the power in an engine and horsepower is the speed in the engine. The gears are the means of changing torque into horsepower or power into speed. For any given engine speed, it is your choice of gear that determines the speed and power of your vehicle. The clutch is the means of connecting the gears to the engine and allowing the turning of the engine to turn the wheels of your vehicle. Torque is the twisting power or ability of an engine to turn the vehicle wheels. The bigger the engine, the greater its ability to turn the wheels. The engine at low speed, tick over, does not generate enough power, torque, to move the vehicle from stationary. In order to do this, it needs gears. Once the vehicle is moving, you do not need so much power, but you do need more speed. Imagine you are pushing a vehicle from a stationary position. At first you need a lot of power, but once it starts moving you then need speed. The clutch. The clutch serves a number of uses. Starting and stopping the car. Low speed control when maneuvering. The selection of neutral while temporarily stationary, allowing you to be stationary with the engine running. The selection of a gear when the vehicle is moving. The selection of reverse gear. Use of the clutch. When using the clutch while the car is moving, it should be fully depressed and then brought up in a controlled manner. The clutch should be balanced with the accelerator for a smooth change. When moving from stationary and for low-speed maneuvering, you will need to find the bite. This is the point when the engine is starting to connect with the gears and trying to turn the wheels of your vehicle. This is known as slipping the clutch, and it is where the clutch plates are starting to touch. If the handbrake was not on, the vehicle would start to move. As the clutch is brought through to full contact and transmission of the engine power, if the handbrake was still on, the engine would stall. Either the engine turns and the wheels move, or the wheels stay stopped and the engine joins them. Finding the bite. There are three ways of knowing you have found the bite. By the sound of the engine. As the clutch is raised by your foot, the clutch plates in the engine start to touch. At this point the engine note will change as it comes under load. By observation. With the handbrake on, as you raise the clutch, the vehicle tries to move. It will be prevented from doing so by the handbrake, which has secured the rear wheels. In first, the front will rise up. In reverse, it will dip down as the vehicle pivots around the fixed rear axle. By feel. By raising the clutch to the bite, you will feel the vehicle move as it tries to pivot around the rear axle. there will be a vibration in the car. Controlling the clutch. If your heel is kept on the floor and you find the bite by pivoting with your ankle, let your heel slide back on the floor if necessary. This will result in a lot more control and less fatigue than would get with your foot in the air. If you have your foot in the air, you are supporting the weight of your leg. But you also have to overcome the pressure of the clutch pedal. With your foot on the floor, once you have the bite and the vehicle is trying to move, release the handbrake and let the spring on the clutch pedal push your foot away. Please note you must coordinate with the accelerator and make the correct observations. Wearing the right footwear will help. The gears. Gears give mechanical advantage. Low gears are most powerful and the high gears are the fast ones. As you move up through the gears you trade power for speed. A low gear, first, might have a ratio of 4:1. This is 4 turns of the engine for 1 turn of the wheels. This applies a lot of power to the vehicle wheels and is used for moving the vehicle from a standstill. A high, fourth, gear may have a ratio of 1:1. This is 1 turn of the engine for 1 turn of the wheels. This gives a lot of speed. The intermediate gears, second and third, and ratios are known as the working gears. The lower gears being more powerful are used for moving from a standstill and moving uphill where more power is required. Lower gear may also be used to slow a vehicle down. This is a form of braking called engine compression. This would be used going downhill or on a slippery surface where braking the wheels may cause skidding. The higher gears will be used for situations where more speed is required, such as the open road. Because higher gear means less torque, power, to the drive wheels, they should be used on slippery surfaces. Overdrive, known as fifth gear, may have a ratio of 1:0.8, which means that the vehicle wheels are turning faster than the engine. This is used for fuel economy. Use of gears. The correct gear is the one that gives the best response from the controls. Every time you change gear because you disconnect the engine from the driving wheels, you are in more control if your engine is connected to the driving wheels. When you are disconnected, there is no engine compression if you are braking. And there is no response from the gas pedal if you are accelerating. You can stop in any gear you like. You should always be in gear when moving, apart from when changing gear. Block changing. Being in gear means being in more control of your vehicle. So for this reason you can block change gears where appropriate. The money change is 4 down to 2, so-called because it can be expensive if you have not dropped enough speed. When block changing up, be careful not to spend too long in the lower gear, as this puts a strain on the engine. Also, excessive power to the driving wheels can cause wheel spin. When changing down, losing speed by braking is better than using engine compression. This is because it is better to match your gear to a speed than your speed to a gear. Also, the following traffic gets the benefit of your brake lights. Brake to slow and gears to go. Coasting. Moving your vehicle when in neutral, out of gear, is called coasting. This could be dangerous for the following reasons. You will have no response from the accelerator if you have to accelerate out of danger. This might occur if you looked in your mirrors and were about to be hit from behind. When braking, there would be no engine compression to help you slow. By disconnecting the power from the driving wheels, you may also affect the handling of your vehicle. Engine compression. This occurs when you are in gear with the clutch up and foot off the accelerator. You may also be braking as well. Some of the energy of your vehicle that would have been forward motion is now being used to turn the engine over. You have also reduced the flow of fuel to your engine. By dropping down a gear, speed is now being turned into power. Slowing down using engine compression is not recommended for normal driving, as there is no signal given by the brake light. Engine compression can be a useful supplement to your braking on slippery road surfaces. Remember to touch the brake pedal to signal with the brake light if using engine compression only. Automatics. Automatics are considered to use more fuel than vehicles with a manual gearbox. The reason for this is that automatics use a fluid flywheel. This is less efficient at converting the power of the engine to the turning of the driving wheels. A manual gearbox has a direct mechanical connection to the driving wheels, which is more efficient. Because a manual has a direct connection between the engine and the wheels, you can either push or tow start a manual vehicle. The advantages of an automatic are ease of use, particularly in heavily congested areas. This ease of use lends them to use by drivers with physical disabilities. In normal driving, only the right foot is to be used. Drivers who are used to manuals will find it takes a while to become used to using only the right foot. It is important to use just the right foot, as when you are accelerating you are not braking, and vice versa. Automatic gears. These will vary by make and model. In addition, vehicle manufacturers sometimes allow the selection of different modes of gear. For example, you may have a sports or an economy mode. Most gear selectors will have the following: P park, R reverse, N neutral, D drive. 1 first gear, 2 second gear. Park will lock up the transmission, so should only be used when stationary. Reverse and neutral are self-explanatory. When in drive, the speed and load on the engine are sensed by the transmission. This then enables the correct gear to be selected by your vehicle. The numbered gear selections allow the vehicle to be kept in lower gear. This is useful for maneuvering and going downhill. Kick down. This provides extra acceleration when needed. Most commonly used for acceleration to overtake. It does this by dropping down a gear within the automatic transmission. By releasing the accelerator and returning to normal pressure, the transmission will select the appropriate gear. Creep. When you are in drive but foot off the accelerator, your vehicle will move forward. The higher the tickover of your engine is set, the greater the tendency to creep forward. A manual vehicle in first gear with the clutch up and foot off the accelerator will also move forward. When stationary, use the handbrake as appropriate. Do not rely on creep to hold you on a slope, as the engine could cut out. Maneuvering. In a manual vehicle, low speed control is achieved by clutch control. With an automatic, this ability to use the clutch is absent. When maneuvering an automatic at low speed, your vehicle speed will be determined by a number of factors. Your engine's tick-over speed, which gives rise to creep. The amount of acceleration offered via the foot pedal. The rise and fall of the camber and gradient. The gear you have selected. Use the first gear facility if available. When maneuvering at low speed, use both feet. The right foot for the accelerator and the left foot for the brake. This two-footed method should increase your control and help prevent any power surges. Types of automatic. In general, there are 3 types of automatic. Full auto, where all gear changes are facilitated by the vehicle. Semi-auto, where a paddle change on the wheel or steering column will allow a change up or down. And lastly, what is sometimes known as constant variable transmission, CVT, which is a cone with a belt that moves up and down it. Consult the manufacturer's handbook, as these systems are different from manual boxes and are different from each other. Thank you for watching this video.